All right, Chad here. I just got back from a screening of the new comedy Joyride from director Adele Lim. This is her first time directing. She has previously written on Crazy Rich Asians and Raya and the Last Dragon. The movie stars Ashley Park as Audrey. You may know her from Emily in Paris and also Mean Girls the Musical. That's going to be important later. You got Sherry Cola as Lolo, Sabrina Wu as Deadeye, and Stephanie Shu from Everything Everywhere All at Once, and also SpongeBob the Musical, the original run. That will also be important later. Who plays Kat. And the story is Audrey is a young woman that was adopted from China when she was a baby and by white parents. And she grows up in a predominantly white area. And eventually she meets Lolo, whose family moves to the same town as Audrey, and they connect because they're the only two Asian kids in town. Flash forward to adulthood. Audrey's a somewhat successful attorney, and Lolo is an artist who makes very sexual art and also lives in Audrey's garage. They're friends, they're best friends, and Audrey's more successful and she supports her girl. So Audrey has a business trip to China that she has to take, and Lolo goes with her to be her translator because like a lot of the movie is, while Audrey is Chinese, she fully embraced the culture of her white parents. So like she doesn't speak the language, she doesn't really like Chinese food, she hasn't even dated an Asian man. Lolo's the opposite. Also, she's a bit stuffy. Lolo's the opposite of free spirit. She knows Chinese, embraces her heritage and all that. Along for the ride is Deadeye, Lolo's cousin. And once they get to China, they meet up with Audrey's college roommate, Kat, who is a famous actress out there. So, through happenstance, they end up looking for Audrey's birth mother, and, crazy hijinks ensue. I really enjoyed this movie a lot. Like, it's a raunchy comedy with all female Asian leads. It's very funny, and the movie has a lot of heart. It had more heart than I thought it would. The relationship between Audrey and Lolo felt really authentic, and you could kind of feel that, like pulsating off the screen. But I will say that this is essentially a road trip movie, and so we do check the boxes of the road trip movie. Like, some things are said early on in the movie where you're like, oh, okay, that's going to come up at a really inopportune time, and we're going to have a fight and all that stuff. And all that happens, basically with 15 minutes left of the movie. And then, we just kind of do a time jump and like, oh, hey, I love you, I'm sorry, all that stuff, There are quite a few threads set up early in the movie that don't really go anywhere. And I didn't really like that. Also, it's seen in the trailer, but there is a bit in the movie where they have to impersonate K-pop artists, and they end up having to do like a song and dance number. And half the core cast has Broadway stage backgrounds, one of which, Ashley Park, is a Tony-nominated actress. And I'm not saying that this is the fault of the actresses, but the singing and the choreography were not that great for like such heavy hitters you have in this cast. And I don't know, like, maybe the writing was part of it, like, and maybe a little bit of the directing too, but like it should have been something, I feel like, where I should be wanting to get that version of the song on Spotify as soon as I walk out the theater, and I didn't have that inclination at all. But overall, this was a really fun and very funny movie. And when I say this movie is raunchy, This movie is raunchy with a capital R. Like it earns its R rating. Like a couple of weeks ago, I saw the Jennifer Lawrence movie No Hard Feelings, and the trailer made it seem like it was going to be as wild and raunchy as this movie. It's not. I absolutely love this movie. This movie's hilarious. It's got heart. It's nasty. And if that's your kind of movie, go see it. I intend to see this movie again in the theater. I had so much fun. Please go see it. I can't hype this up enough. Go see this movie. If you're watching on YouTube, do the YouTube things. Like, subscribe. If you're listening to the audio version of this, also subscribe to the podcast as well as leave a review or a like, depending on whatever your platform of choice is. I've been Chad. Thank you so much for listening or watching.